So you may or may not have heard, but there's a new movie in the theaters called The Sound of Freedom, and it stars Jim Caviezel. I believe he's the guy who played Jesus in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. And I think this movie, this was produced, it was either produced by like a Christian company or it was produced by the guys who did Chosen. I think they're Mormons or whatever. But regardless, it's not produced by kind of the big Hollywood sort of name. So because of that, it doesn't have very much advertising, and if you don't hear about it by word of mouth, you probably don't know that it's even in theaters. But the movie, I would say, is well worth a watch. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to kind of give a preview, a brief overview, a brief review of it without any spoilers. Now, if you want me to go into a deep dive into the movie, maybe some of the themes and some of the stuff that happens in the movie, I'll do that in a later video, a later podcast episode. I'll probably have a guest. Maybe I'll see if I can get Stigma the Artist or somebody like that to talk about the movie with me. But for the sake of this video, this is just me kind of telling you like why I think it's worth watching and what you need to prepare yourself for if you're going to go and see the movie. So without further ado, let's get into it. So if you're not familiar with the premise behind this movie, it's all about trafficking, human trafficking, particularly that of children slavery, and all of that implies. Now, the movie itself is not visibly graphic. Nothing explicit is depicted on screen, but enough is inferred that I would highly suggest that you be very selective about who you go to the movie with. If you're deciding to take your teenage kids or whatever, and you're doing it with the mindset of I want them to be aware of this stuff that's going on, just know that going into the movie, there's going to be some very disturbing stuff talked about. Now, it's all real. We shouldn't pretend like it doesn't exist. We don't live in a cotton candy fairy princess land where nothing bad ever happens. Absolute human depravity and sin is the focal point of this, and the desire to kind of overcome that. And the movie is the main character of the movie is this guy. It's all based on a true story, I guess. And his job is to track down people who prey on children. And he works through the Department of Homeland Security. And he gets frustrated that he can't. That yes, he's putting people behind bars, but he's not saving children. He's not actually rescuing the children. So the movie is kind of the story of him going on this journey to try to save children and stuff like that. The movie will emotionally rip your heart out. This goes double for you if you're a father or a mother. It is emotionally devastating at times. There are scenes that are very difficult to sit through, and it's even worse because while you're watching the movie, you can remind yourself that, hey, this is real. This is actually going on. This isn't just a screenplay. Now, in terms of entertainment value, the movie does hold up. It is not a boring movie. It's not a slog. It's not a soulless documentary. It's a movie that has a plot, that has character development, that has, emotional weight and payoff and things like that. So for that aspect, it's not a boring movie. It's not a boring movie. It does feel like an important movie. Again, the themes being talked about here are very important. Unfortunately, as it states at the end of the movie, there are more people, children in particular, in slavery now than there have been in all of human history, and this includes when slavery was legal in the United States. So this is one of those movies where you watch it and you walk away thinking, wow. It's hard to believe the world really is that bad, because a lot of the sin that's confronted in this movie, if you're a Westerner, if you're an American, you may not have dealt with it. This is kind of like under the surface type stuff. This is parts of society that you don't associate with, but there's absolute human depravity going on, just around the corner. So with that, yeah, don't take your kids to the movie. First of all, they probably won't understand the themes of what are going on, and second of all, it's just it's too disturbing, honestly. But it is worth watching for you as an adult. And honestly, if you are disturbed by the movie, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point. Is you're supposed to watch the movie and go, oh, that's bad. That's really happening. I can't believe that's really happening. And hopefully watching this movie moves you to pray for those people, not just those people who are the victims, but also pray for the repentance of the people who are perpetrating this evil that's depicted in the film. In terms of Christian themes in the film, there are a few there are a few passages cited here or there. There's, I think, at one point one of the characters quotes the Bible verse when he's talking to somebody he's arresting. The Bible verse about the millstone around the neck. There's the phrase, God's children are not for sale. That's said one time in the movie, and it's pretty impactful, and it's kind of one of the taglines of the movie. But there's not really an ongoing Christian message throughout the movie. So this is not a movie you go to and you get any sort of theological insight from. It's just kind of, it's talking about, it's child trafficking. That's what the whole movie is about. And it goes through kind of step by step of like, what to expect. The different people are connected to the different people, connected to the different people. And this is what happens to the children. They go from here to here to here. It kind of gives you, I mean, it makes it real. It makes it less ambiguous. And like, okay, you see logistically how the operation works. And that kind of makes it a little bit more terrifying. Now, as a parent, it's frustrating to watch because, you care about your own kids and you hate that this is happening to children, other people's children, and you can't even imagine thinking about that happening to your own children and you're just being kind of helpless to track down and do anything about it. So with that, yes, I would recommend going and seeing The Sound of Freedom. You can actually watch a movie for free. There is like a pay it forward ticket buying program thing. If you go to angel.com/freedom, angel.com/freedom, ANGEL. You can actually get a free ticket if money is what's keeping you from watching the movie. You can likewise go and buy tickets for other people who can't afford the movie. And I think any money that's not spent on tickets when the movie finishes its release, I think goes kind of back. It goes to the movie studio. But if this isn't a big Hollywood movie studio, it's not necessarily a bad thing. This is one of those moments where you can actually support content creators. You can support possibly even Christians who are working on important projects that, honestly, Hollywood wouldn't tell this story. This story it condemns a lot of stuff that's going on in Hollywood. It doesn't explicitly say this stuff, but you're like, yes, I can see how this is not just something happening in Southern Central America, but this is something that could definitely be happening in the United States as well. So without any more spoilers, I'm not going to get into any more details about it. Not now. You can see that in a future video or podcast. At this point, I just want to encourage you to go out and check out the movie and let me know in the comments what you think. And Sound of Freedom, angel.com/freedom. Worth a watch. Check it out. God bless you. Take care.